Can y'all hear me now? How about can one of you guys let me know? I bet it's because I wasn't on the screen. Let's see.
I can hear you. I've heard you the whole time.
Right, but apparently on Facebook or YouTube, they weren't being able to hear me, so that's a shame. I'll have to post our video, right? Let's see. Yeah, if y'all wouldn't mind to let me know. I wonder if it's on my Facebook. I'm using Restream. I've never used it before, and of course I wish I had been able to use it before tonight, but all right. Let's see if it's post our good. All right, it is on Facebook now. So, oh man, I touched my face. This is like the worst thing to do. All right, let me get back to it. So yes, Becky, Unmuzzled Houston, has been doing great work for small businesses. She helped with Constitutional Rights Summit. She made this pretty logo. So, you know, if you need some logo work, she's the girl to go to. All right.
You see that?
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
My business logo.
That's awesome.
New Frontier Graphics. Look us up.
Yes, that's New Frontier Graphic, in case you didn't hear it. Okay. So yeah, bricks being laid in Detroit. Supposedly we're not for riots. We'll hope that. All right. Up next, I wanted to talk a little bit about the voter fraud going on in Houston
regarding voter fraud.
The Texas political director for the Joe Biden campaign, Dallas Jones, according to numerous sources inside law enforcement and according to numerous sources across the great state of Texas, and social media posts that are spreading, social media videos that are spreading, and also surveillance footage and surveillance capabilities that I've seen shows that it appears that Dallas Jones was forcibly interrogated by the FBI today and was in fact in FBI custody undergoing interrogation. Now, I am awaiting word from the FBI and also from Mr. Jones himself. This scandal hinges on voter fraud, a massive voter fraud ring that's being run in the city of Houston and in Harris County. This is something that some very good people and I have been working on for quite some time, and that I have been reporting on. There are now a number of sworn pieces of testimony and sworn affidavits, including to the Texas Supreme Court, alleging and in fact catching this voter fraud operation. A sworn affidavit provided to the district attorney just hours ago shows that the precinct workers were using stacks of driver's licenses, phony driver's licenses, and matching them up with people who are doing drive-through voting.
I just want to stop there. I checked in about 30 minutes ago with where everything is looking like in Texas, and of course, the Democrats look like they're leading. I wonder why.
So now we have a little bit more context about all of those phony driver's licenses that are being pumped into this country through airports, including by the Chinese Communist Party. And so as we have photographic evidence of that, which I published, and also sworn testimony. Now we also have several affidavits filed to the Texas Supreme Court linking the Joe Biden campaign directly to this activity in the 2020 presidential election. Private investigator, retired Houston police officer Mark Aguirre said the following: I am a retired captain with the Houston Police Department. I am now a private investigator, and this is under oath, by the way. I'm currently involved in an investigation related to a wide-ranging and fraudulent ballot harvesting scheme in Harris County intended to rig the elections in the Houston/Harris County area. This scheme involves voter fraud on a massive scale. Based on interviews, review of documents, and other information, and I have seen these documents, by the way, and the other information. I have identified the individuals in charge of the ballot harvesting scheme. These individuals include political consultant Dallas Jones, who was recently hired by the Joe Biden for President campaign to oversee their Harris County initiative. District 13 Texas State Senator Boris Miles, who is the handler of Mr. Jones. Political consultant Gerald Womack, and Precinct 1 Harris County Commissioner Rodney Ellis. One of the companies these individuals are using as a front for this operation is AB Canvassing, although there are others that have identified that we are investigating. I have in my possession videotaped interviews of witnesses attesting to the aforementioned people having groups of people completing thousands of absentee and mail ballots, including completing ballots for deceased individuals, illegally going into nursing homes with the complicity of the nursing home staff, and filling out and forging the signatures of nursing home residents, signing up homeless individuals to vote using the ballot harvester's address, then completing the ballot and forging the homeless individual's signature. This entire operation is being run by the elite politicians of the Democrat Party in Houston, Harris County, and that is just one of the affidavits in this case. Now, we already have published photographic evidence showing that these stacks of driver's licenses are being used for drive-through voting. This is the big thing I'm doing in Houston. Drive-through voting. You can vote like it's Taco Bell because of the coronavirus scandemic. Well, what they're supposed to do is they're supposed to show an ID when they drive through, and then the precinct worker is supposed to match their ID up to the voter rolls. But what's happening is they're driving through without an ID. The precinct workers are taking the ID, fraudulently linking it up with the people who are doing the drive-through voting and giving them a fake identity in order to vote. Okay? So
all right, so there's a little bit more to this story from Bruce Figure, and you can go to YouTube and look at the rest of that video. He allowed me to post that, but I wanted to stop there because he just talked about the drive-through voting. Well, because of litigation now, they've had to close 9 out of 10 of those drive-in spots, and sorry about that. And they sent out an email, and it said, this comes from Rochelle Abakatsua. Hi all, you're receiving this email because you are a presiding judge at a poll on election day. Due to ongoing litigation, the county has shut down 9 of the 10 drive-through voting sites. As a result, we are reassigning the drive-through voting staff to assist indoor polling locations. We're writing to let you know. Do not be surprised to see some faces of staff that you did not bring on. These new folks are to serve as clerks and to work under your leadership at the poll. If you have any concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. All drive-through voting staff have been intensively trained on how to work all machines and forms. Feel free to assign them to whatever role you believe is appropriate or needed. If your site would like more clerks, please do not hesitate to let us know. Thanks much. How could the presiding judges really verify that these people had the proper training and the proper security clearance? And my friend Robert sent out a reply because he's a presiding judge there. Per Secretary of State, no. Any unauthorized persons in the polling location will be asked to leave. Failure to do so is a Class C misdemeanor. I will ensure the integrity of my polling location with the full legal authority granted me by the state of Texas. CCO has no say nor business in this matter. Do not test me. You will face consequences.
Go, Robert.
I love you, Robert. And I actually became friends with Robert because of Candace. You want to say hi, Candace?
Hi. Yeah.
Yeah. So runs what is it? Texas Coalition for Medical Freedoms. Is that what it is?
Texas Coalition for Medical Rights.
For medical rights.
Medical rights.
Okay. We changed it.
It's a mouthful.
I can't remember. Anyway, she's been my ride or die for the past several months. We've done how many protests together? I don't even know anymore. And it was a big help in Constitutional Rights Summit as well. Anyway, she introduced me to Robert, and Robert really educated me quite a bit on the voting process. And I'm so glad that he's a presiding judge, making sure that there's no illegal activity going on at his polling location. But yeah, I mean, you can see why
I actually went and voted at his location earlier. Can you hear me?
we can.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I went and voted at his polling location earlier today. I waited till last minute, like 6 o'clock, and said hi to him.
How'd that go?
That's good.
Did you have to wait for a while?
There was no line at all. I just went in and voted.
Wow.
I guess everybody wanted to get
It was
it
nice.
in early. That's, you know, we had a record turnout for early voting. I mean, we smashed the
They
records.
said that the early voting were like really long lines, but it wasn't like that for today. I guess everyone wanted to early vote this year,
Yeah.
which is good.
Right. Well, I'm nervous about that. The only reason that I early voted, and we'll talk about it more later, was because I was concerned they would take people's abilities to go and vote without a mask away again. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. Let's see.
Do you want more input on voter fraud in Houston?
Yes, please. Actually, I was about to ask.
Okay. Candace, you may know about this as well. You might be able to speak to it even more than me. But have you heard about Teach Out? She's a conservative activist who experienced a lot of the voter fraud.
No, I'm not familiar.
Okay. So I spoke with her. She did a really good live video, actually. The first week of the early voting, she signed up. She was a worker at one of the locations, and she said just from day one, there was so much. It was either, people not knowing that they weren't following the rules, or they were intentionally skirting the process at the locations. And she worked at one of the drive-thrus, actually. And she said it was actually a cool idea, right, to be able to pull up and vote in your car, but they weren't following laws, because whenever you vote, in the voting booth, you're not supposed to talk to anyone, interact with anyone, show anyone what you're voting or how you're voting. And people were pulling up in their cars with, whole families of people, and the kids would be in the back seat yelling and screaming. The wife would be leaning over, looking at how the husband is voting. And she said, I would see them lean over and ask questions of each other. And I get it. You may want to consult with your spouse, but that's against the law. You're not supposed to be able to be influenced at all. And she was one of the workers at the poll who was responsible for making sure this didn't happen. And she was keeping things in check in her row of cars, but she noticed that in other rows with other workers, this was happening. So she would walk up and be like, hey, maybe so-and-so didn't tell you, but you can't be talking while you're voting. And they would get quiet, and she'd walk away, and they'd start talking and, basically partying in the car again. She said, it's like a party in these cars. People were excited to be voting, in their cars. So she would walk up again and say, I'm sorry, but you hear this. And one of the poll workers got upset at her and said, who are you? Why are you doing this? And complained about her and started investigating her and realized, oh, she's a conservative activist. And from that point forward, the poll manager, the person who was over that polling location, said, you need to stay in your row cars. Don't be talking to anyone else or doing your little investigations or location. And that was just one thing she said. I mean, it was like a whole list of things that she said, this was ridiculous. And she said, I'm not going back, because they basically tied my hands. I can't consciously work at this location and watch this stuff be happening. And they were talking about too, I'm not sure if it was her or someone else in Houston, but someone snapped a picture of that stack of IDs that was just sitting at a voting location waiting to be used for people. And I haven't actually investigated that very much, but I've been told there's a picture, there's evidence that there were extra IDs being used at a location. So we've got some major voter fraud in our city, and it's got to stop.
Absolutely.
I did go through election judge training for Harris County recently. And when I was going through my training, I noticed they mostly just talked about the use of PPE. They went over the laws very much. And I noticed a few of the things were not in line with what the voting laws were. And I pointed it out to them. They did not like that. I ended up getting fired because they were following the rules. And they didn't like that I was, telling them, hey, you're breaking the law right now. Like this doesn't fall in line with the election code.
Yeah, and
So,
and
yeah.
Miss Rochelle, what was her last name? I can't even pronounce it.
Rochelle
Abakazua?
I don't even know.
Yeah, I spoke to her,
Abakazua.
and she acted, like she didn't know what I was talking about when I called, and I said, so how are you accommodating your workers? Are you discriminating based on the ADA and based on the 1964 Civil Rights Act? Are you discriminating? And it wasn't just Rochelle. Nobody could give me any answers in that entire department. They kept passing the buck. I don't know. You don't know?
Yeah. One of the things that they said was that the ID doesn't have to be exact, and they don't have to have the same gender even, and they don't have to look alike on the ID. I'm like, that's illegal. Yeah, so many things in that training that were just way off.
Well, they
So
don't.
they're not
They
even
don't
training
have
their
to look.
judges right.
They don't have to look like.
They
the person.
said in training, yeah, they don't have to look like the person.
Wow.
And it's because of the transgender. They're catering to transgender, so their excuse is that they don't have to look alike. They don't even have to have the same gender. As long as their name is somewhat similar, it's okay.
Wow.
Like, how is that even? If the name should be exactly the same, right?
Goodness.
Basically, you can get a fake ID and go vote with it.
I could go vote
Yeah.
like this, and it would be okay.
As I could go vote with Charles as my name. I don't know.
Right.
You look like a Charles Canton. All right. I wanted to say hi real quick to Damon. Damon just signed on here. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Hi, Katie. Hi, Becky. Hi, Candace.
Hey.
Damon.
Hey, where'd you get that awesome patriotic face at, Katie Bug?
I made it.
It looks like it's all painted on there. Did you get somebody to paint it on there?
I did it. I did it all myself.
How in the world do you do that? You're more talented than I thought.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I looked at a picture and I went for it. I thought to myself, well, if it turns out bad, I could just wash it off. But thankfully my 5 minutes didn't go to waste. So,
Well, is this going to these videos here going to be broadcast in this format with 4 pictures, 4 people on YouTube?
yes, you're on YouTube right now.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool. Well, you brought me on, I think, to share about my stories about mass discrimination and the harassment that I've got.
Yes.
And
yes. If you can hold your horses for a little bit of time, or how much time do you have?
I got all night, girl. Do what you need to do.
Excellent. All right. Well, it's about that time. Do we want to talk any more about voter fraud before we have 3 minutes left before I wanted to check in? We're all good? All right. Well, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and look at where the polls are right now. Is this the updated? You have to get the bad news first, right? I know this is like nonpartisan, but it's not nonpartisan at this point. Okay, so CNN is saying Biden prediction of 203 and Trump is at 125. And what does CNN have to say for themselves? Let's get to the. Oh, you're just watching everybody vote? Is that all they're doing? Yeah, right?
Exciting.
Is this live still?
What is happening?
Is this legal?
Yeah, it's a little longer of a process.
In Texas,
Right. I thought you couldn't even have your cell phone out in a voting location.
yeah, in Texas you can't do that. What? Oh, Orange County.
Although I just saw a story on NBC where a news reporter just walked through a voting location. So I don't know. Maybe it's different in different states.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Well, thank you, Texas, for some privacy there.
Yeah, right?
I can't believe this is what they've got going on the CNN live feed. Okay, well, let's move on to Fox. Hold on, I gotta.
They don't want to see someone losing.
Yeah, really. Okay, so we want to pause that and. All right, they are saying 129 and 94. I'm sure that's updated because that's pretty drastic. I feel like of a difference here. They're saying 3 and 125 on CNN, when in reality it's a lot closer. A lot closer than that, which makes me nervous because they still have Joe Biden leading. But let's see, we've got New York all the way counted. And by the way, okay, it's 9:30, which means it is 7:30 on the coast. They've got 30 more minutes in California to vote or for the polling locations to close. And I don't know, I mean, in Texas, we might not have had all those lines, but in California, they might be still voting here in like 2 or 3 hours. Who knows? Who knows what they do in California these days? But yeah, so we've got New York and Virginia. Looks like they've kind of finalized the tabulation, and it makes sense that they would be blue. We've got 65%, 33% Donald Trump. Virginia was actually, wait, what's going on here in Virginia? Why do they have it blue?
That's wrong.
What on earth? Well, good job, Virginia.
They can't bring themselves to change to red.
Yeah, really. Well, this is Fox. This is Fox News. You'd think they'd want it to be red, but
Right.
maybe there's a glitch in their system on, what they thought might happen and what is the reality. Maybe that's what's going on here. Okay, what do they got on their live stream? Hopefully something a little more exciting than someone's backside as they vote. Oh, come on. Okay, is it just this? This is not as exciting as it was in 2016 with everyone talking. Right?
They don't want to all get caught on camera crying again.
Yeah, that's exactly right. If y'all didn't see the recap that I did on episode 3, y'all should go watch it. It was pretty epic. I still was laughing hard. There's one scene, I don't remember, I think it was CNN, and Donald Trump is leading there at the end, and this guy just goes, ugh. It's great.
We should watch those. I haven't seen recaps like that.
Okay, I will go to the recap. Let me turn this off. Okay, so what did we say? Okay, Joe Biden looks like he's kind of in the lead, but the popular vote, Trump actually has. So that's interesting. All right. So yeah, by the way, if you would hop on YouTube and go to UnSilent Majority, the channel, and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. That notification bell should be fixed. I had said that it was content made for kids because it was kid appropriate, like not kid appropriate necessarily, but I try to make sure there's no cussing and it's educational. But if you put it on kid content, then you can't hit a notification bell. I fixed it. I guess they don't want them having that dopamine or constant notifications on when somebody's up. So, all right, channel inception going on.
Welcome
right
to
now.
UnSilent.
Let me go forward. Oh, look, there's them crying. Okay, here we are.
To him winning, and what the left's response was when he finally did and Hillary conceded.
Trump just last week, he confirmed to the National Review that he's again considering a run in 2016.
Do it.
You know what? I can't hear it.
You can't hear it? It is pretty quiet. Let me see if I can turn it up on YouTube itself. Nope. So you're gonna have to just go to YouTube and watch it. Yeah.
Okay.
So in this, he's saying, do it, please. Nobody actually wants you to be president, but we all want you to run, and I'll write you a check for you to do it because that would be really entertaining. Here's the clip of her saying that Donald Trump would be
has the best chance of winning the election.
Have the best chance of winning the election.
Right now, Donald Trump.
I love how that face, that's great. The excuse me, what?
Anyway,
No, he is not going to win. Oh, you don't even know what you have in store for you.
President Obama will go down as perhaps the worst president in history of the United States! Exclamation point at real Donald Trump.
does anybody else see this red line
At least I
in the
will
middle of their
Yes.
screen?
president.
I don't know what that is.
What a good burn from former President Obama. But too bad President Trump has basically nullified your entire presidency.
Can y'all hear it now?
Beginning of the end for Trump. Donald,
A little better.
situated the presidency. The strongest person.
Oh, but he
usually
has
is the loudest one in the room. So right now we have Hillary.
the trolliest troll king. By the way, I love that this is the Hall of the Mountain King in the background.
Leading in North Carolina, leading in Ohio, leading in Nevada. I could go on and on and on. We're gonna make a projection right now. Donald Trump will take Ohio. Actually, I project Donald Trump will carry the state of Florida. Huge win for Donald Trump.
Here all the election results start to come in. It's starting to look really scary for all of the leftists.
Tennessee, Mississippi, South Carolina, Alabama,
The lying media, the bad polling.
South Dakota, Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, the state of Montana, North Carolina, Georgia, Iowa, Utah, Wisconsin, Arizona, Kansas with its 6 electoral votes, Nebraska with its 5 electoral votes, and Wyoming with its 3 electoral votes. Sorry to keep you waiting, complicated business. A lot of people have laughed at me over these. Now they're not laughing so much, I'll tell you. This is a sweep. You wanted to be precise, so go ahead.
That's right. CNN can report that Hillary Clinton has called Donald Trump the race. She's called Donald Trump to say that she will not be president, and I'm not sure the exact words, but probably to congratulate President-elect Donald Trump. So that has happened in the last few moments.
Yeah, maybe over the phone for like the 2 seconds you spoke with him, she was nice, but I believe there's a recording or confirmation by people, some staffers, saying that she was cussing up a storm and just being completely abusive to everyone around her. that night.
Remember that.
President-elect Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton has conceded that is dramatic. That is a dramatic development, Jenna. And to hear the words President-elect, we haven't yet projected that, but Hillary Clinton, what you're saying, has now made a formal telephone call to Donald Trump to concede. Is that right?
That's correct. I'm talking to a source who was there for it and telling me that conversation did happen.
She's stuttering. Da, 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 da.
Hillary Clinton has made it very clear to her opponent that she believes that he will be the next president of the United States. And the rest is in New York City.
Okay. Watch this guy right here. Watch his reaction. Just his face. Just watch it.
Donald Trump is the next president of the United States. We can project it on the basis of an Associated Press report.
He looks like he's about to cry.
Win the state of Wisconsin. That is 10 more electoral votes. 269, 279, and 270 to be president. Our next president will be Donald Trump. I mean, it's just, you just have to.
They're deflating over there.
You just have to take a breath and say, wow, and to say, this is really, truly the most unbelievable thing that any of us have seen in our lifetimes.
President of the United States, he has pulled off something that no one believed he could do. It certainly looked like it wasn't possible. Perhaps only he believed it was possible.
All right, so that's what the map looked like. Let's see. We were noticing New York and Virginia. That's that. Now it's looking about the same.
I can tell you, maybe he was the only one who believed it was possible, but a lot of people were praying for it because we just couldn't stand for Hillary Clinton, Hillary to be president.
Oh, this is the funny one.
Oh, this is a good one.
209.
Okay, so there's those recaps right there. Oh my goodness. Then Rebecca Maddow's little hissy fit right there at the
They
end.
put them in the basket of deplorables. Do you remember that?
You're awake, by the way. You're not having a terrible, terrible dream. Also, you're not dead and you haven't gone to hell. This is your life now. This is our election now. This is us. This is our country.
What a big baby. Goodness.
Okay, so yeah, that's Rebecca Maddow was talking smack about Trump the entire time. Oh, he's not gonna win. He's not gonna win. He won, and she lost her mind. It was good. It was good. Let's see. What do we got? Yes. So let's talk a little bit about Trump's accomplishments over the past 4 years. He got us out of NAFTA. He, let's see, we got vaccine safety to the forefront, even for the Democrats to be questioning, like, whoa, warp speed, is that very safe? Well, guess what, everybody? They've been at warp speed this whole time. Is it the Hep B vaccine that it was like a 4-day trial? Candace, do you know?
I don't remember.
There's one of them. I feel like it's the Hep B. Don't quote me. I'll have to go research it again. But it was only on trial for 4 days. That's the reality we live with, is that this testing that you think.
Well, if they went longer, then they would show all kinds of reactions. So
Exactly.
they got to cut it short.
Exactly. And I hope that people do continue to keep looking. And I mean, that's a sad thing. You know, our parents' generation before that grew up thinking, well, we can't survive without a vaccine. And now our kids are like, we can't survive without a mask, without a vaccine, but we need a mask now. Like, are we also going to have to, like,
do the vaccines work or not?
Exactly. Exactly. We're gonna have to put bubble wrap around ourselves eventually, you know.
Yeah, we're slowly losing our connection with, you know, this outside world that we've been in contact with for thousands of years, that you could argue makes your immune system stronger. And people are afraid of it now. They're afraid of bacteria. They don't trust their bodies to heal.
Yeah.
It's a problem. Yeah.
I mean, we have an entire virome. We have a microbiome with bacteria, and then we have a virome with thousands of viruses in our bodies because we come in contact with all of this DNA that makes up who we are.
Yeah.
It's a sad state. Okay. What else? Is it NAFTA, vaccine safety? He's got us out of the Paris climate deal. NAFTA. What did I write down here? Oh, and then we've got the peace agreements, not only with the Middle East, which that actually makes me nervous. Right? If you like read the Bible, then you know that there's never really peace in the Middle East. And it may look like that, but it's never happened. And that's, I'll go off on a tangent if I keep talking about it. But and then we also have North Korea and South Korea. Was that last year? Coming to peaceful terms and ending the war. I mean, nobody expected that, right? I didn't expect it. So he got us out of the Iran deal. He effectively ended Obamacare as it was, where you didn't have to get Obamacare or face a penalty. You could just say, oh, religious exemption, right? I think, or have like a Christian medical share in place instead. So some really good things that Trump has done. Let me look at the rest of his accomplishments right here on the White House. Let's see. Oh, tons of job creation. I wish I knew what this red line was. It's driving me crazy. But yeah, lots of job creation. And even though
at least it's not blue. We want all red tonight.
Right. At least there aren't 3 red lines on there too. You know, no communism in this house. And even though we're going through a pandemic, people are saying that they are doing better now, right now, than they were doing 4 years ago under Obama. In the middle of a pandemic with all of this job loss and our economy tanking and all of the suicides going up, people are still saying that they're doing better overall, which is crazy.
And I just say my business is one of those. We started in 2014, and just this past year, it's picked up so much that my husband actually was able to leave his full-time job and join me in the business. And this, for the past few months, we've been saying, this is weird. I mean, are we actually seeing the results of, you know, President Trump's maneuvers in the economy? I mean, it's a trickle down for sure. And we've just gained more clients. People have had more money to spend on marketing and advertising. And it's been wonderful. You know, it's like we haven't even had to go out and get them. They're coming to us. So,
right.
You know, we've experienced it, I think, firsthand.
Right. Hey, Becky, just so you know, could you maybe turn down your mic or something? We're getting a little bit of feedback, or at least I am. So it's going to be picking up.
How's that? Is that better?
No.
No, still too loud?
Yes. Totally.
Okay. How about now? No.
I don't know what's going on with your mic, but I guess we'll just have to grin and bear it. You've got a lot of good stuff to say, so I'm sure people will.
I'll try plugging in my headphones.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. And he had low unemployment, and the lowest unemployment for minorities that we've seen, I think, on record, at least for the Hispanic American population right here. Women's unemployment recently reached the lowest rate in 65 years. I mean, we can go on and on. Look at this. So for people to say that he's done nothing is just a bald-faced lie. Now, you know, I don't like Trump for his past, right? And we all have a past. Being a human being is messy. But I think when you look at someone and who they are and their character, you look at their children and you look at how they turn out. And obviously that there's, cases where that's, everyone has free will. I'll just say that. But if you look at Trump and you look at his kids, they look pretty normal. And then you look at Biden and Hunter, and he's, a coke snorting, incestuous child molester. And I mean, I don't know what else to say there. Now let's go on and talk
I think that pretty much says it all.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So let's talk about Biden's accomplishments. Does he have any? I'm genuinely asking this because I didn't get time to research. Yeah, I didn't get any time to research this ahead of time, and I do apologize. But I can't think of anything that Biden has done except that he got to be vice president and follow Obama around and like make weird poses, which we have memes for now. But I can't think of anything good that he's done. I've seen videos of him making these statements like he was at the top of his class and yada, yada, yada. And all of them were not true. So I don't think Trump lies all that much. I think Biden lies all the time and doesn't even know when he's lying or not. And it's just really sad that people are going to vote for someone who obviously has a thing for kids. I mean, we have all those pictures and video of him brushing up on kids in very awkward ways, makes me feel uncomfortable. Does that make y'all feel uncomfortable?
Very much so. Yes.
Yeah.
Very inappropriate the way that he is around, especially children.
Yeah. And I don't know how somebody could actually vote for him. And I actually had a conversation with somebody who was voting for Biden, and I said, you would rather vote for a child molester over someone who has a bad temper? Yeah. Just despite themselves. I don't know. It was weird, but
well, then there's the theory that they're voting for Kamala, right?
Yeah, because we know that, I'm sure she called herself Kamala, didn't she? Kamala, however you pronounce her name.
Yeah, I think it's Kamala.
Yeah, it's Kamala.
I never can remember though.
But okay, did you hear that she mispronounced her own name a couple days ago?
What?
Yeah, she got on to people.
I didn't hear that.
She said Kamala. I mean.
Oh wow.
Anyway, yeah, she looks like someone who would definitely bump off an old man. And say for defamation, I said she looks like. I didn't say she would do it. I just said she looks like to me someone. But I do want to talk a little bit about Joe Jorgensen. The really sad thing about American politics is that nobody feels comfortable really voting for the third party. I would love to vote for the third party.
Yeah.
And I'm scared to vote for the third party because I do know that so many people vote red or blue that it's essentially a waste of your vote. Might not hurt your conscience any, but I know I wanted to vote third party in the past, in the 2016 election and this election, honestly, because Trump does make me feel uncomfortable about certain things that he does policy-wise. I was rooting for him, thought he was a really good guy in terms of medical freedom, which I think me and Candace at least are passionate about. And then he threw a mask on for the past couple months. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? And then he uses Regeneron when he gets sick. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? So he's been pro-life. He said that testing on abortifetal cell lines is not going to be acceptable at the HHS NIH level. And then he goes and uses Regeneron, which is completely opposite of that. So
I will say one of the reasons why I've never voted Republican before this year. One of the reasons why I did, usually I vote Democrat or Libertarian or Independent. But one of the things that Joe Biden said was that he was going to make mask mandatory. And I really don't agree with presidents being authoritarians and just laying down the law in areas that really aren't their business. So that's the only reason I voted red this year. It's because I believe in medical freedom. So, and Trump has said multiple times that he is going to let us decide for ourselves. And I appreciate that. As much as I don't care for him too much, like Katie said. But yeah, medical freedom is probably, I would say, my number one reason for voting.
how about you, Becky?
Yeah, it seems like that. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what these two parties, how they're splitting, right? You've got Republicans who stand for freedom. You choose what's good for your life, personal responsibility. Democrats are authoritarian. They want to tell you what to do, how to live your life, tell you.
And they phrase it in a way that says it's for the greater good.
Right. Collectivism. You're not a good person if you don't make decisions for your life based on your neighbor and what they want you to do. So we're having a clear divide here, right? Democrats don't believe in our country as it was founded on freedom and liberty, and they're headed toward Marxism when it comes down to it. We all see that coming. We see the writing on the wall. So there's a clear divide.
Yes. Damon, what are you voting? You here? Or Lori? Maybe they're not.
Oh, he's muted.
Yeah, I see that. Oh, here we go. Hey, Damon.
Hey, y'all.
So
I voted maybe 6 or 7 days ago, like the second day of voting in my county, and I had to wait about an hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes.
That's pretty incredible.
In my county where I voted, I think 92 or 93% voted for Trump last time.
That's pretty
and
incredible.
I signed up. I had a situation where I'm living in another county now, but I voted in the other county. I'm living in Harris County now, and I had to go back to Liberty County to vote. So I signed up to do the poll watch for today, but I couldn't do it because I wasn't, I was registered to vote and voted in Liberty County, so they wouldn't let me do it. I called Doc Green and asked if he had any inside contacts so I could find out what was going on, and he set me straight. So.
Okay. Well, thank you.
I suppose all of y'all, I know Katie voted red and for Donald Trump, and Candace just said she did. How about you, Becky?
Oh yeah, red all the way. I'm typically a libertarian, but like Katie was saying, that's a scary thing. I have voted libertarian in the past, but this year, Harris County is so blue, and at this point, I just want to vote for the person who's going to be the Democrat. That's what I did.
Yes. And so, Damon, why did you vote red?
Well, because I hated Donald Trump in the primaries last election, and I fought against Ted Cruz. And when Ted Cruz threw in the towel, I said, all right, I'm going to vote for Trump just because I don't want Clinton. And I hated Trump because I bought into all the lies that the media was telling, like the one that really got me where he made fun of the retarded reporter or whatever. Not retarded, I shouldn't say that. I'll get us banned. But so then about 2 months into his presidency, I realized I seen somebody had a video where they showed that that's not, he wasn't making fun of the guy. That's just something, if you're talking so much stupidity to him, he's like allergic to stupidity. And whenever he gets tired of it, he does that to everybody, not just people with disabilities. And then so I started paying attention, and I went from vehemently hating him and calling myself a never Trumper to about a year ago, I started thinking he's going to be a better, if he gets 2 terms, he'll be way better than even Ronald Reagan.
That was exactly my journey as well. I was for Ted Cruz. I was extremely upset with the way he treated Ted Cruz during the primaries. And
man. Whenever Ted Cruz threw in the towel, I was like, now what the hell am I going to do with my life? Because I was fighting tooth and nail for him.
Yeah, I voted for Rand Paul, and of course he didn't make it past the primaries either. And I was like, man, but he's awesome. I love him. Why? And I felt like just writing his name in on the ballot, but yeah, I could never let Hillary get the seat. It just, that would have been terrible. That would have been immediate forced vaccination and just the end of the U.S. as we knew it. So instead, we've fought Russiagate and all of that stuff in the past 4 years. Okay, so Jo Jorgensen. I'm gonna look up what her plank was, even, because I don't know. It's just sad that in the U.S. we cannot really vote for how we feel, because we're always saying, oh, but we can't we can't let that person in, so we'll vote for whoever's going to beat them.
Yeah.
Let's see.
It would be nice to get a kind of like a libertarian Republican candidate as a Republican, just like Rand Paul or something. This would be good.
And she looks she looks so nice and presidential too, doesn't she?
She really does. So I have a friend who works really hard with the Libertarian Party in, I think it's Wharton County. It's down in Wharton, El Campo, southwest of Houston. And she's saying she thinks that there's a good chance that they can get these Libertarian candidates some footholds there. And I think that's the place to do it, right? Because if the Libertarian doesn't make it, you know the Republican is going to win in those rural areas. They're not voting Democrat. It's always going to be Republican. So, you know, I'm like rooting for her. I'm like, yes, please start the Libertarian wave out there, you know, where it's safer to do so, I guess. And they're not so worried about Democrat control.
Right. If you didn't see, I'm just like going through her little flippies here, and I like everything that she stands for so far. To end civil asset forfeiture. I don't even know what that means. Yes, you know, some of these causes, I'm sure they have to use this terminology, this jargon, because it's what it's actually called, but I wish there was some layman's terms so we could really know what they're talking about. But okay, let's move on. Yes, we have to leave. I'm so sorry, Joe. The nice Joe, not the sleepy Joe or whatever. Okay, so let's check in here. I'm gonna refresh. And then after we do this, we're gonna look at some fun memes from 2016 and over the last couple of years. Let's see.
Are you guys still getting a lot of feedback from me, by the way?
It's on and off.
Not me.
No. Maybe if I sit back like this.
Wait, that guy has been there forever, right? Am I crazy? Oh, it's stuck. Why are they doing this? Like CNN, you're lame. What is this? Is this Yahoo? And I wanted CNN. I don't want CNN, but
Yahoo.
yeah. Okay.
Canva is the
Maybe here's
tool
something
that makes designing
Oh yeah,
easy.
Canva. We
Canva
like you,
has
Canva.
all my content creation.
Go away,
needs covered.
Canva.
Just got off the Milwaukee.
This is better.
Tomorrow morning, we're going to go probably over to one of our offices, but for the most part, I think we'll be, and you'll be coming with us, I imagine, but we'll be going over to one of the offices, perhaps.
No, this
Virginia.
isn't live. What is going on here? I guess this is it. All right. Well, Fox, are you going to let me down? What is that? Lame, disappointing. All right. Ugh.
Numbers update. Has it changed?
Yeah, I think.
Oh, for the worse.
Yeah. You know, I was going into, that was a big jump to 148 from 120 something.
Texas still hasn't come in, right?
Yeah, it looks like, Trump is ahead there so far. Okay, California, I think these must be what they're historically. Because look, Trump's a 74% there. Let's see. Virginia, Donald Trump is still winning. But why does he have a check next to him like he won?
Is that they are predicting the win, even though they haven't all come in yet? Like they expect Biden to jump ahead, I think.
Sure wish I knew.
Yeah, I forget from year to year how they do all of this.
Sorry, what, Candace?
If you go back to it, you can see it said like 20% reporting only. So you can see that it was only 20%. Sorry, can you hear me? If you go and put over it again, it says 58% reporting right there.
Okay.
And so it's not completed yet.
Gotcha.
So how many are in Texas? Is that percentage lower, you think?
74%.
No, it's 74%.
So they should be calling Texas, it seems like.
You would think. I think everyone's waiting with bated breath. And then we've got all of these votes that are going to be counted over the next week or so. I don't think I've ever seen it where you have to wait multiple days to find out, right?
Except for 2000, right? With the Florida stuff.
Oh, yeah, with the Chads and whatever. Forgot about that. Okay. Hey, Fox. How's it going? Do you have anything interesting to add?
Fast. I just had it happen the other day when I was walking into Starbucks. Some guy came up and goes, "How do you have such a good body?" I
can't even block it for everybody. I'm over here trying to block the screen. I keep touching my face.
He had some nice abs.
Right. At least there was that. Not kid friendly. Okay. Man, I wish I had some, coverage for people actually speaking. No. Still nothing. All right. Well, let's look at some memes. And as Peggy Hall likes to say, shall we? Does anybody watch The Healthy American besides me?
I just did this week for the first time. One of her videos popped up for me, and I was like, oh, I need to watch her stuff.
She's so nice, isn't she? I like her.
Yeah. Did you see she got kicked out of the pool for not wearing a mask this week?
Oh, I didn't see that. What is happening? What? Hold on. What is happening here?
Is your computer wigging out?
Yeah, kind of. That's what it looks like.
The Russians are hacking you.
Oh, I know what this is. I had recorded. Okay. I had re-recorded this, and then I forgot to actually cut the thing down. So, all right. I don't know if y'all remember this video from 2016, but it was after Trump won. This ad came
People
up.
laugh too. So, in case you didn't see it,
Shush.
there
Shush
in this,
myself.
she's clearly obsessed.
Oh no! What is this? I guess I. This is still from that.
Trump picture. Is that a camel?
This is so weird.
Yeah, I don't really understand if this is like a pro-Trump thing, or like, do they want to destroy the world with Trump? Do they think Trump's going to destroy the world? I'm not really sure what's going on here, but it cracked me up.
Okay. Oh, that's yeah.
Great.
Anyway,
that's from the Hello Kitty world, as you can tell
something
by the style.
Yeah. I don't know why that cracks me up so much still, but it does. All right, so let's look at some memes here. Oh, I don't want to hit play. I just want.
Oh, hey.
Yeah.
80s. So my mom was watching the show and she said that the check on the state means the prediction.
Okay. Thank you.
It's like predicted.
There's so much that you have to research in order to.
If Trump is winning, then that's good, even though it's blue.
Yeah, that is good. Okay, that's what I thought. Thank you to your mom for confirming that, and I wish I knew that ahead of time, but.
So the color is the prediction, but the check mark is what? Does that mean that it's officially called? Sorry for so many questions.
I think they did predictions or something. It's what she said.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Okay.
That's what my mom said. She said the check means it was predicted.
Okay. All right. So let's see. Let's look at this. Regardless of the outcome, this will be an historic election. First female president, first socialist Jewish president, first fundamentalist Hispanic president, and first fascist Oompa Loompa president. Yeah, the media and everybody really liked to give him a hard time, didn't they? But really, I don't know why he looked like a Cheeto, but he did. He really did. He's got that
he looks
fix
a
up.
lot less orange now.
Yes, he does. Go ahead, Republicans, and delay. So, okay, I saw this meme. I'm like, wait, did we do the same thing that they're upset about Trump now? Like the shoes on the other foot? I don't really remember Republicans trying to delay the Supreme Court nomination. Does anybody remember that?
Yeah, my husband was talking about that. Who is the Senate Majority Leader? Mitch McConnell. I think it was at the end of Obama's term. He was saying, "Oh, you should nominate someone." I don't think it was Elena Kagan. It was the other woman he nominated. Anyway, he was making the same argument back then, and my husband was like, he shouldn't have done that because it was wrong back then, just like it's wrong now to say that. If you're the president, you can nominate whoever. So yeah, Republicans play their games too.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. I was, I mean, you know, disappointed, but not surprised to see this. All right. What's the next? Sorry, what?
I said, I have a question. Maybe y'all could help me out. I haven't been keeping track of it the last few days. Like some people, some news outlets were reporting that it might be 10 days, might be 2 weeks before we hear the finalized. And then I heard there's some states are taking it to court. And when are we now expecting to hear a final tally and a declaration of whoever won?
That's the question. We have no idea.
Y'all don't have the answer neither, huh?
No, I don't think anybody really does. And then are they going to fight it? Is there going to be fighting in the streets? Maybe it's almost a good thing that we don't know tonight because people aren't going to have like a bloodbath when we wake up. I don't know.
No, I think it's a bad thing. Have y'all ever heard of a color revolution?
Go on.
Well, a color revolution is basically the method that the United States government creates a coup d'etat in other countries, where what they do is if they got a candidate that they want to win and they don't think that they're going to win, they divide. It's the same thing that's going on in our country. It's the same thing that happened in the Arab Spring and all the communist revolutions. Is that they get their candidate on the ballot. They use voter fraud to get it close. They get violence in the street. Then they delay the declaration of who won. They increase the violence to where the population will accept anything just to stop the violence. And that is... let's see, I think it was Dan Bongino was the first one I started talking about, started hearing, explaining this process. Then Brandon House, y'all might know him. And then Fox News had some ex-former high officer in the military come out, and he actually put the name Color Revolution and said, I knew that that was something that the communists and that the Arabs had done, but that actually our government had used the same method to overthrow, basically to do coup d'etats in other countries and instill governments and leaders that they want in other countries.
Wow.
Well, never mind. It's not a good decision. Man, I am.
Yeah, I heard. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Becky.
Well, I was just going to add to that. I heard a news story this morning on our Houston AM radio station. They were interviewing someone who was saying that in an election where there's a lot of confusion, different ballots are being counted, and there's just chaos, then something in the Constitution allows it to be kicked to the House of Representatives for a vote. And so what they think the Democrat Party's agenda is here is to cause so much confusion and say, well, we can't get a number, kick it to the House of Representatives, and they've already got a majority that they won from this election, is what they're trying to do, and then they get to vote on president. Basically, Nancy Pelosi gets to pick the next president.
Goodness. Please no, please no, please no.
Dan Bongino, what he's been saying, I think it was him that I heard this from, is that if they can delay it till Inauguration Day, if there's no winner declared to inaugurate, then it automatically goes to Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've been clicking through these memes. My mama said not to vote for Hillary because she's the devil.
True.
It's true. And that
I
is
never saw that movie.
Never? Oh my goodness.
No.
Oh my goodness, you have to someday. Okay, some of it is like
it's on my list.
what kind of genius loses $1 billion in a single year? What kind of genius loses $6 billion, 4 American lives, a laptop, 4 cell phones, 3 tablets, and 33,000 emails, all while Secretary of State? Yeah, you know, what's incredible is, has she testified yet? Or did they say she didn't have to?
I don't even know.
I feel like
they let her off. I think they let her off the hook.
yeah, she was supposed to testify, I think September 9th or somewhere around that, and then it never happened. It's like, what happened to her being behind bars? Well,
Yeah.
okay. Anybody tries to, they probably end up suicided, right?
Mhm.
Or Hillaried. Okay, I saw this meme and I was like, really? It's quite the opposite, but all right.
Have you guys seen Trump Card?
No, Trump Card, what?
Yeah, it's the new Dinesh D'Souza movie. I just watched it today, actually. It's on Amazon for rent.
I'll have to, what is it called?
Trump Card.
Trump Card.
It's so good. It was like, after watching it, I was almost in tears thinking, oh gosh, he's got to win. Because it exposed all of the corruption within the Democrat Party and then talked about the great things Trump has done. I know he's got an agenda. He's definitely, on the right, but I feel like he presents things well.
Yeah.
Becky, have you seen any more of Dinesh D'Souza's documentaries? And if so, is the new one, Trump Card, is it better than the other ones that you've seen?
I think so. What was the last one? Hillary's America, I think. That one was good. Or maybe it was Obama's America. Did he make 2? I can't remember. But I saw that one in theaters, and it went through the history of the Democrat Party and the Republican Party and how they kind of switched views over the years, and how the Democrat Party sort of with Lyndon B. Johnson tried to basically buy the black vote. His quote was, "We can get black people to vote for us for 100 years." It was just a lot of like, he didn't care about them. He just wanted their votes. Anyway, I did a terrible job. I butchered that explanation, but that was a good one, but it was so much information. It was hard to take it all in. And this one was easier to follow. So
Okay.
Good. They're both great.
This meme makes me laugh so bad. Post Hillary. There's no mail. There's nothing. Not a bit.
Right. It's gone.
This also made me happy. Though, I don't know, some of the things that she has been okay with kind of make me nervous. Amy Coney Barrett. Like,
Really?
she was like for the lockdowns and masks, and yeah, that makes me uncomfortable, to say the least. So, okay, we went over the memes. What time is it now? 10:21. We're a bit ahead. Let's see. Okay. So in the last election, I want to talk a little bit about it. In the last election, like, why did we vote for Trump? What were the reasons? Or why did you vote for whoever?
Because his last name wasn't Clinton.
Yeah.
I did not vote last election.
I didn't vote for Trump. I went Libertarian. But
Right. Yes, I went Libertarian.
Did you? I knew Texas was going to go Republican, so I didn't feel like there was a lot at stake. If we were a swing state, I might have considered voting Republican.
Gotcha. Yeah. My reasons for voting the way I did are still kind of the same reasons. Could not do mandatory vaccination, and I was not about to let someone pro partial birth abortion get in office. So, those were my reasons. Aside from, yes, I mean, the Clintons are as crooked as they come, and Hillary would just kill everybody off. I'm trying to think. There's I think it's on Netflix, which I don't get on Netflix anymore, so I couldn't tell you what the series was called, but this queen just would go around and kill whoever because she felt like it. Oh, you crossed me, you're done. How many ways can
Sounds
I
like
kill
Hillary?
Yeah.
So were you for Trump from the beginning, or did you have concerns about him?
I thought it was like stepping into the Twilight Zone, and it was like Idiocracy realized, the movie. Have you seen Idiocracy?
It's a great movie.
It's what we're living really right now, I feel like. Anyway, so yeah, Trump's running, and I'm like, what is this life? And so I voted for Rand Paul and was for him. And then, once we got to the primaries, I was like, okay, I guess I will be voting for Trump, even though he's reprehensible to me. He's not as disgusting as Clinton. So anyway, that's where I was coming from.
It sounds like we've all sorted him around, right? Like none of us voted for him, and now we all love him. Is that safe to say?
Oh yeah.
I
Are
wouldn't
y'all
say.
familiar with? Are y'all? I'm sorry to talk over you. Are y'all familiar with Tim Pool?
Yes, I watch Task
Yes.
pretty frequently. So
Yeah. He says the big deals with him is all the peace treaties and stuff that he's made in the Middle East, and also because he's scared as hell of the far left, the extreme radical left, and he's up on it. Knows that they're going to pull. He's going to be pulled by Sanders and all of them to the far left, and so yeah, I think he, if I remember correctly, he had voted maybe libertarian last time, and he's voting for Trump this time. Definitely.
yeah, it's funny.
Yeah.
Those peace treaties really make me nervous because in Revelation it talks about, the Antichrist making peace in the Middle East, basically, and it doesn't last. And it talks about, the Antichrist getting to rule for 3.5 years, and in the middle of the 3.5 years, something crazy happens. The tribulation starts, I think, and I'm like, what are we living in right now?
Well, that don't really concern me, because if I remember, it's been a long time since I studied end times or eschatology. But if I remember correctly, basically a synopsis of Daniel 9 or Daniel 7, where it talks about it, is that the world will be cut up in like maybe 5 or 7 zones, kind of like European Unions type. And then the Antichrist will come in, and those 5 kings or whatever will give all their power to him. So I really don't see the Antichrist coming anywhere yet myself.
Yeah, I do feel like a lot of this has been manufactured. I mean, we know that this is a pandemic. We know people haven't really died, and that these things really aren't happening, even though they keep saying it to us on television. Yeah, the cure for COVID. The cure for COVID is turning off your TV, right?
Amen.
So,
That's true.
Anyway, let's check in again, see where the numbers are. Let's see if I can. Here we are. We've got to find somebody. Oh, you know what? There are more lively people out there. So this is Louder with Crowder.
Centers at Austin, San Antonio, Houston, El Paso, Dallas are being reported on, and then some red, but we've still got to fill in those other.
Oh, now Donald Trump is up by 0.3 from last time. Last time you said that Biden was up by a little bit, right?
Yeah, right. He was quickly.
This is actually the Politico is actually a little bit behind.
Okay.
But yeah, this is roughly the same place.
Yeah.
Okay.
So most of all of the rest of those counties were red when CNN brought those up from 2016.
Right.
So
and Ohio
we'll
also
expect that to
depends because keep in mind with Ohio too, Ohio always seems more blue early on because again you have those big cities in Ohio and those
Yeah.
typically tend to be the places that count the most. And in Ohio you have Columbus, you have Cleveland, you have Dayton, you have Cincinnati, you have but then you have a lot of other areas in Ohio, a lot of farmers, you have a lot of suburban people, and those
Big
votes
time.
tend to be counted afterward.
This is kind of
Yeah,
fun.
and even then, Donald
Like
Trump
we're
is
on
leading.
Louder with
It's
Crowder.
tough to know how much of the vote being counted is early vote versus today's vote because some states are doing them in different orders.
And that was one of the graphics that just came up. Was North Carolina was showing 75% of the vote was early vote. So it's almost like a tortoise and the hare type thing. You've got a fast sprint from those early votes that are getting in there counted, and certainly they're probably going more one way than the other. But now we're getting a catch up. And what is not really quantified again is how many people are actually showing up in all of these different polling stations. How many new voters are, and how many voters that just simply are untouched by any kind of qualitative polling. You just really, I think if there's anything that's going to be very clear is that this is the last we've seen of any reasonable, sane person looking at national polling when calling an election.
Even state polling.
You have to.
Even statewide. You've got to
Even
go
state
to
polling.
the districts. You've got to go down to that granular level.
You know, as a matter of fact, here let me bring up right now. I'm going to bring up RCP polls.
Yeah. Well, and
All right. Well, I don't want to get in trouble for copyright. So they have CNN, and CNN is actually saying things. So let's see if I can't find an actual CNN coverage of this. Okay, so here's the written version. We've got the link, maybe. So it's fun when you're just trying to figure this stuff out, right? Just after 11 p.m. Eastern time. So this was not a minute ago, but okay. He's at 192 and 108 with Biden winning.
It's okay. They're not all in yet.
Yeah. Okay. And then Fox. I don't want this ad. Okay.
So
That's
they're
looking
still not
better.
Counting Texas, right? In the numbers.
Yeah, I think so.
So that's 38 right there. 38 electoral college numbers or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
So what would that put him at? He's at 148 on this map. It's 48 plus 38. Gosh, my math is terrible.
Oh my goodness, what is this? It is 223.
86. Maybe 186, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And then it seems like Pennsylvania wasn't that one in play this year? I think Trump campaigned there.
Yes.
A good bit.
And he's doing pretty good in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. So that's 20 more.
Still making me nervous because, they're projecting him at 223 right now. He's closing in on that 270 needed.
It makes me wonder if the way they're calling these numbers, if that's just a Democrat bias as well,
Yeah, well, this is still Fox,
Okay, right. Don't panic.
Yeah, I know, right? I don't want to panic. Okay, let's see what the Daily Wire is saying.
Sincerely, other than a leftist, who in Ohio is voting for Biden?
Oh, this was back.
I think it's college-educated whites. I think it and assert ourselves in all of these areas. But we're going to lead the way. We're going to get out ahead of our comfort zone. We're going to start making the content that we know has to be made. And we're trusting that you guys will follow, that you'll become subscribers over at dailywire.com, that you'll use the promo code election tonight and get started. You'll get 25% off. You get the Leftist Tears hot or cold tumbler. But listen, it's not about charity. It's not about the Leftist Tears tumbler. It's not even about the amazing.
Well, while they're doing their ad, I guess I can do my ad. I'm on Patreon now. Go to patreon.com/UnSilent Majority. You can support me for as little as $1 a month there. $7.50 a month. You become an enthusiast and you get some extra perks, some bonus episodes. And I think at $20, you get ad-free content. So you won't get this plug-in like you are right now. And then you can follow me on YouTube, as many of you probably are right now. Please hit the subscribe and the notification bell, because I would love to reach 1,000 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And that's my goal, is get 1,000 subscribers. It will help me. So in order to make money on YouTube, you have to have 1,000 subscribers and something like 80,000 hours of people viewing your content before they will start monetizing your videos. So, I spend a lot of time and energy putting these, taking all day, and part I am participating in. I would really appreciate that support. And you're supporting the Constitutional Rights Summit as well, hoping to have some kind of event coming up in March or possibly April. But speaking of activism, if you are against masks, like so many people are, and you need something that shows it and gives you some strength when you're walking around without your mask, I made these t-shirts. It's called Shed the Mask, and it says Don the Flag on the bottom, and then it's got the First Amendment of the Constitution on the back. It really helps me when I'm walking around. People harass me, and I just say, look at the back of my shirt, leave me alone. And it's been helpful. I don't know where Candace went. She trying to hop on? No, I think she must have gone to sleep. So,
UnSilent Majority.
Yes.
Katie Bug, I'd like to compliment you. You're doing a great job of everything. I actually
Community
tried to
that you
sign
can
up
participate
to
in with our other
become a Patreon member, and for some reason it wouldn't take my second email where I had to, verify the email. Like if I pushed 0 one time, it would do like 4 or 5 zeros. Have you had any other complaints about that?
No. I'll have to get with you on that. But speaking about discrimination stuff with this mask, can you go ahead and tell your story about what's been going on with you?
Yeah, well, I donate blood plasma twice a week, and I'd already had a problem with this one lady when I was taking my service dog in. And it's just, there's some people have the personality of an a-hole. And she started trouble with me whenever I took my service dog in 6 months ago. And then I was in wearing my mask, and I got a phone call, and I pulled it down so I could talk on the phone. And then later on, I had it down over my nose. And by that time, I'm already expecting that I'm not going to be able to have good enough blood pressure to be able to take the thing. Well, to make a long story short, the manager stepped in and he set that all straight. That's not really a big deal, but I have received a whole lot of trouble over my political stickers on my vehicle. Have y'all gotten any harassment over that kind of stuff?
No, I don't. I keep my vehicles pretty clear because my concern is my kids' safety. If it was just me, I'd have like arrest Bill Gates and all this stuff on there and have no care in the world. But what about you, Becky?
I don't have any on my car. No. My husband's a little worried about getting keyed and chased down and everything else. It's sad that you have to worry about that nowadays if you're a conservative, but I'd love to hear what's happened to you, Damon.
Well, I was flying my Trump flag. I had 2 Trump stickers and a Blue Lives Matter sticker. And I pull over at a store and I come out. And here in Texas, you can carry big knives. And so, well, anyway, I was coming out in a Tahoe with 2 black guys and 2 Mexicans come into the parking lot and creeping by, staring me down. And they was listening to a rap song that went boom, boom, F Trump, boom, 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 F Trump, boom, boom, F Trump. And so I stopped and I looked at them and they're looking at me and I put my hand on my knife and they just kept rolling. And then one time I was at a gas station and I was backed up next to the dumpster and dumping my trash into the dumpster. And I was sitting in my truck and a carload, I think it was 3 white boys, teenagers, early 20, 3 white boys and a black boy. And the black boy got up in the window and sat on the window he was out the window hollering at me, "You better get your A out of here," or something or another like that. And then I was at a store and I was parked right in front of the doors, and this guy come out and he was giving me the stink eye, and I was looking at my phone like this, and I was wondering, what the heck's he thinking? And so about 30 seconds later, I look over and he's sitting in his car just staring at me. And I asked him, I said, "Hey man, can I ask you what you're staring at me for?" And he said, "I'm the cops." And I just says, "Oh really? Well, rock on, Blue Lives Matter." And then this was what made me take some of my stickers off. I put some of them on since, and I'm going to take all of them off tomorrow because I don't want to become a target. But anyway, I went to Liberty County has the city of Liberty has a real nice city park. Well, for 2 days, in the park, the entrance to the park is right by the Tractor Supply. And people park in front of the Tractor Supply to get rid of puppies and sell items and things like that. So I stood out there for 2 evenings between 6 and 7 and waving my Trump flag and had my Vote Republican signs. And then while I'm at the park on the 3rd day, I showed up early, about 2 hours early, because I'd asked, put on Facebook in the local community groups if other people wanted to join me, and a couple said that they would join me. And so I showed up early, and I'm sitting there, and because I need glasses, I have to extend my phone out on my arm. And when you do it this way for a while, I have to set it on top of my steering wheel. So I started doing it out the window. And I looked, and there's these 3 ladies that looked like they were 25 to 30. And I thought, well, I don't want them to think that I'm taking pictures of them, so I pulled it back in. And then after they walked by, I stuck my arm back out there and started reading my article again, and one of them went crazy on me, claiming I was trying to take pictures of her and everything. And so then whenever I said, "Hey, I'm not tried to explain to him what I was doing," and she kept getting more radical, acting like she was going to come over and manhandle me or something. And then she really got mad when I said, "Why do you think you look good enough people want to take your picture anyway?" Well, then she took out her phone and come up and took a picture of my license plate, said she's going to make me internet famous. And so then about 3 hours later, a friend of mine in the community group sent me a link to her post where she actually did. And she made it seem like she worded it, "Me and my girls was at the park, and me and my girls got scared, but me and my girls got out of there. But y'all watch out for this pervert taking pictures. He might be doing the human trafficking thing. And so all ladies in Liberty County should watch out for this guy and this vehicle with this license plate number." Well, it turned into a big old mess to where it ended up. The cops, I was receiving so many death threats because the girl that took the pictures, even though she looked to be 25, her mom contacted me and told me, well, I heard that you, she sent me a message through a Facebook Messenger and says, I heard you met my teenage daughter. And I'm like, no, and you must be talking about the girls at the park, but they wasn't teenagers. And she said, I said, because by that time after my friend sent me the link, I went to her page and she works at a bar. And so it ended up so anyway, all of her friends are young, late teens and early 20s. Well, they started saying,
and what if they were doing this over the fact that you had?
He was the one that told me 93% of the county voted for Trump. And her mama even told me that she loves Trump. So she might have legitimately thought I was taking her picture. But whenever she posted it on her page and to one of the biggest community page, well, all her friends that are real young, which some of them and I had been fighting against the people that are waging war against the cops, the Blue Lives Matter, Antifa type people in our local community forums. And so I'd made a lot of enemies. So the next thing I know, they're making posts like, y'all want to meet up at the park for target practice? Hey, we need to set this dude up. I mean, there was 6 or 7 different people that were saying we need to set him up. There was one guy that said we need to go to the park for target practice. And so many people started responding that I felt it necessary to say, hey, y'all should really be careful because some targets shoot back. And so I started receiving so many death threats that I told one of the sergeants at Liberty City Police Department, I said, I'm thinking about getting out of Liberty County for a little while.
Yeah, you told me that you had to leave there for a bit of time, and you went to Georgia or somewhere like that, I think.
I went to Georgia for a little while, and I'm back in the Houston area in Harris County, but I still don't feel comfortable going. I had to go into business and I had to go vote in Dayton, and it's in Liberty County. But I feel uncomfortable going to the county, and I'll definitely not go back to the city. When I told that sergeant that I felt like I should get out of Liberty County and maybe even out of the Houston area for 4 or 5 months, he said, Mr. Witzel, I would stay gone for at least a year. And I said, well, why? What do you know that I don't know?
It's because you're an older white man. You're an older man, and I think men in general just make women uncomfortable, and you've just got that. You got that going for you. Sorry.
Well, her mom told me that her daddy had got her daddy passed away, but before he passed away, that he had her scared, the stranger danger everywhere thing, that you're a pretty young girl and be careful because there's a lot of bad guys in the world and they're looking to do this and looking to do that. And, and there's a lot of stigma, like some guys that work in, my aunt was telling me that a lot of people are on edge because of all the actual trafficking that are going on.
Yes, it's really terrible. And I even I grew up in the DFW area, and I've always been very vigilant, even when I was 7. And nobody told me why to be so vigilant, but I do not like being out by myself at night. And I mean, the world that our children are being raised in is just terrifying. But I have really great news. Trump won Ohio.
All right. Is that the final tally?
Well, it says, this is from Fox. We have a major race call to announce. The Fox News decision desk can now project that President Trump will win the pivotal state of Ohio, clearing a major electoral hurdle in his quest for a second term. So, yeah, right. So Trump won Florida and he won Ohio, which is good news. And they also said that Biden won New Mexico and Arizona, which that's not unpredictable. I mean, those are blue states pretty through and through. So that's exciting.
It's great.
Yeah. It's probably the best news I've had for the past 5 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so Damon,
I wanted to finish off my rant real quick.
You
just
go
by closing it up by
Go
this.
ahead.
Is that the girl might have legitimately thought I was taking pictures of her, but there's no doubt that whenever she made her post, that there was a lot of political motivation, because the officer ended up telling me that they had received at least several calls on me. And so, yeah, they dogpiled me. They tried to set me up because of my political activism and me waving the flag and all that stuff.
I'm really sorry to hear that. It's
ridiculous.
unfortunate. I mean, you know, my husband is about the nicest person I think that I've come across, and you know, we'll be at the playground. We've got small children. We have 2 beautiful girls, and you know, he'll want to help somebody on the monkey bars or whatever, and I'm over here like, you probably don't want to do that because it's gonna look bad. And I mean, men just have their hands tied behind their back, sadly, because there are a lot of monsters. But it's not just men who are monsters in this child trafficking and child abuse situation. There's a lot of women too, and women just kind of get a pass because no one really wants to believe that a woman would do it.
Yeah. And that's the thing. If you are looking through life looking for predators, you're going to find someone to impose that facade onto. And that's what she was doing, you know. You never know what someone's motivations are for what they're doing in a public space. Someone might have had a bad day and they're frowning at you, and you think that it's because of, you know, whatever, your baseball cap or something. And it's just they're having a bad day. And we live in a world where everyone is so ready to jump to conclusions about other people, like maybe someone who can't wear a mask in a grocery store. And they decide that they don't like that person. This person is selfish. This person doesn't deserve respect because of their political beliefs or, you know, whatever. And then they want to go online and talk about how outraged they are about it because it makes them, you know, be able to sort of woke-splain and, you know, look better, that like, look how great I am and look how I'm fighting back against this evil person. Whereas you'd probably get along with that person if you just sit down to coffee with them and find common ground. But we're so far past that.
It's a virtue signaling, huh?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Well, I come up with a new name for the millennials and Gen Z, because whenever she made her post, you know, probably 100 different people responded, and all the young people there, oh my God. And so I now call them the oh my God, oh my God, oh my God generation, because everything is just so emotional to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I definitely hear that. Well, I'm really sorry that happened to you, and I'm so tired of like being discriminated against in general. Like we're just a person. Like we're living in a world right now where everyone's disgusted because you're a person. Becky, have you had any issues going into stores or?
Yeah, I have. A lot of our stores in Houston are back to just letting you be, except for Sprouts. I don't know if you have any Sprouts in your area, but they are just hardcore on this mask thing. I went in, you know, pretty early in the morning a few weeks ago. It was probably 9 o'clock, just so the grocery store would be free and I could social distance. So within 5 minutes of being in the store, I was approached by a manager who said, "Ma'am, can I get you a mask? You have to wear a mask to be in the store." And I said, no, thank you. I have a health condition that prevents me from being able to wear one. And he said, well, you got to wear one. And he just proceeded to pin me down back and forth. And I said, so are you telling me that you are about to kick me out of your store because I have a disability? And he said, no, it's just our policy that you have to wear a mask. And I said, but I have a disability. You're not accommodating that. And I said, I'm sorry, I'm going to keep shopping. And he said, well, I kind of walked away, and he said, well, we can't serve you. And then, a few minutes later, I'm in another section of the grocery store. He comes back up to me again. At this point, I'm getting out my phone. I said, will you say that? I said, I'd like to see, I also said, can you show me your Sprouts policy, like your written policy on your website, or, give me a handout or something? He said, I can't do that. And I said, well, I'm going to keep shopping. And then I said, will you just say, on to my video what the Sprouts policy is and why you're about to kick me out? And he said, I can't say anything on video. That scares people. And, we went back and forth, and I said, I'm not leaving. And he said, well, we're going to have to call the police on you. And so he walks away, and I hear him on the phone saying, yeah, we're the Westheimer location. And I got on Facebook Live at that point, and I said, guys, I think I'm about to get arrested or ticketed or whatever they're going to do. They just called the police on me. So I continued to do my shopping nervously, but I walk through the store with Facebook Live on. I get in the checkout line, and I'm thinking, they're not going to let me through this line. But
sorry, I'm going to stop. The Fox News decision desk now projects that President Trump will win the state of Texas and its 38 electoral votes. I think that's it, right? I hope so. Man, that's such good news. So he won Ohio, he's won Florida, and he's won Texas. I don't know how the Democrats are really going to come back after that, but
how many electoral votes does that give him?
That's
they saying
38.
38 more. Okay.
Yeah.
And then Ohio was how many?
I don't even know. I'm just so happy about that. Okay. Let's see. Last updated. Oh, this is CNN. Hold on. Is CNN going to be nice and update that? It says Biden will win Virginia. No surprise there. I can't find their map that's updated. Let's see. Polls. Sorry, I cut you off.
That's okay. No, I want to see.
Come on.
Well, so long story short, I get through the grocery line, and as I'm walking out of the store, I hear the walkie-talkie sound across the grocery store, and the police officer was walking in as I was walking out. So I narrowly missed it.
All right. Glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, Candace went to the Sprouts here because she really wanted these cookies that they have, and she made it through checkout and everything, and then someone was like, you need to leave. And she's like, are you harassing me? But I'm like, leaving the store, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, so okay, Trump, this is Fox News. They have Joe Biden right now at 223 and Trump at 204. And they've got Montana, Indiana, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Georgia kind of is what they're needing to fight over. So let's just go. I'm going to go backwards. Georgia, he's currently leading in, they've got about 76% in. He's at 53.3%.
Georgia is usually red, isn't it?
I don't know. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. He's barely leading in North Carolina at 50%, 50.1. Pennsylvania, he's leading at 56.2, and they've got 54% of their ballots tabulated. Oh, they wish they should give him to North Carolina and give North Carolina to him because they have 94% in.
Huh, that's weird. I was watching NBC earlier, and they said, oh, yeah, it looks like North Carolina is going to go to Biden.
Oh, not so much. Let's see. Michigan, he's winning with 54%, and they have about half reported. Wisconsin, he's winning at 72%. 72% has been reported, and he's at 51.9% leading. And he's leading.
Why is Nebraska striped like that? Only one.
I don't know. I guess they
it doesn't give an explanation, does it?
No, it really doesn't. Maybe it's because it's so. Those are some weird counties.
Yeah.
Okay, zoom out. So it looks like he's gonna be president again.
So let's say he wins Georgia and North Carolina, that's 31. What's that put him at? 235. Huh.
And then
if he gets Pennsylvania, would that be 255?
255. He's winning here.
Those look
that's enough.
My friend that lives in Georgia is still assuring me that Georgia's going to stay red because she said that basically the only red counties is the county that Atlanta's in, and the rest of the state, except for one small county, will probably vote Trump.
Mention what Dogger, is that how you pronounce it?
I don't know.
Go through here.
When you go up to the map, there's still not.
Why is it?
That Trump wins, but that is interesting because what matters more than even the mail-in, and I was having to go by the numbers that we had with the mail-in numbers, which surprised me with Pennsylvania versus the same day numbers. We didn't have the numbers on Philadelphia. If he's outperforming in Philadelphia we did last year, it's a good sign. I see very little reason, unless he underperforms everywhere else because of because of single white pitches.
Right, he'd really have to stumble in a lot of the other
counties.
And
what was that?
SWBs.
Yeah, SWBs. Single white pitches. When they say that's a big lie too. When they say suburban women don't like Donald Trump, blah, 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 blah. No, these aren't moms or wives. These are women. These are the kind of, what these women are like. My wife had a friend who lived in Detroit. She was like, I'm going to go move to Detroit because they have coffee shops.
It's quaint.
It's quaint. She thought it was fun.
Right.
And then all of a sudden she realized, oh, wait a second. I've been mugged twice. My friends.
These are the things that you get elsewhere.
Let's see what Daily Wire is saying now.
With them in.
Yeah, those people are in, or somebody once said to me,
look how sophisticated. I was going to have like popcorn out here.
That's why
non-GMO, of course,
There you go. Real butter. All the good fats.
That's really weird because you see most of the people that I know don't.
Okay, you're not talking about what I want you to talk about. So let's not watch this again.
Does Fox News have a live stream?
Yes.
Where they're talking about it?
Let me get back to their live blog. I think the live stream is on that. Thank y'all for sticking with me, by the way. It's been fun. Yeah, it's been fun and then also stressful because I'm like, oh yeah, we're live and all these mistakes are happening. Whatever. We're just people.
Yeah.
Just people trying to have
no big deal.
All right.
By state legislators says are the rules and regulations of an election. And some state legislatures adjusted their rules and regulations to accommodate COVID-19. Some states did not. But the Constitution grants the authority to set election rules to state legislatures, not state courts, not state election boards, but state legislatures. So what these Republicans are worried about is monkey shines of the kind that might be suggested when you hear that votes are being altered to make them count, which otherwise would not have. So this is where we are. But you're going to hear a lot of talk about vote suppression. In some cases, that might be true, but in a lot of cases, it amounts to an insistence on following the law.
And there's another issue here, which is that every state, and by the Constitution, every state sets its own rules for elections. So, Pennsylvania's rules can be utterly different, and that's completely legal if it is done by state officials. And we've seen it here. Some states count early votes first, some count them last. Sometimes there are variations within counties in the same state.
Chris, it's not just state officials. It's the state legislature that the Constitution confers the authority to set the rules. And if state officials come along later and say, well, geez, we got this pandemic and it's awful, they don't have authority to change that.
But then you have to interpret what the legislature has done in the midst of this pandemic and all that rest.
That's right.
And then you get the courts involved as to say, did you in fact violate what that takes us down a road of great contention.
Well, I know, but if you have a deadline in law, right, and somebody says, well, we're going to count votes that are after the deadline, there's not a lot of interpreting to be done there. Votes are late.
It's
they
more
don't count.
complicated than that.
All right. So I wanted to point out, okay, apparently Biden's winning Hawaii. Apparently that's not a new thing. And it doesn't surprise me because I know some people from Hawaii and yeah, it's very Democrat. But you look at
it's a liberal over there.
Having to depend on the state to provide stuff for you, like New Mexico, I feel like, they were just decimated with from their own resources and stripped of their rights and whatnot. And I think that's probably why they are blue there.
Okay.
You see these responses to breaking Biden wins Hawaii. There's like all these negative downs, but then Trump wins Texas. Woohoo! Everyone's going to respond on that. He wins Ohio, lots of likes. Of course, this is Fox News, so who knows how the country is really feeling. But all right, it's 11 o'clock. I said I was going to go to midnight, but I think I'm going to call it for now. I have some hope in me now about Texas and Ohio and Florida. And I think I can maybe sleep tonight. Hopefully I'll wake up in a not crazy world tomorrow. Okay, it'll probably still be crazy, but maybe at least we won't have Biden as president, I hope.
Yeah, I really hope they can call it tomorrow.
I do have one more question of you girls. Is that I've noticed that only Walmart and Dollar General are the only two businesses that I've seen that actually have the proper signage up that notes that there are medical exemptions. Have y'all seen any other businesses that are given the proper signage?
No, but I will say I like to go to Quiznos now because they don't have anything up about masks, not on their website and not on their brick and mortar places. And you go in, they don't harass you. And I tip them every time because I'm like, thank you for not being psychos.
Yeah.
Cool, man. I'm going to have to go get me a Quiznos sub then.
Yeah, we hadn't had Quiznos since college. And one of our favorite places to go, Pita Fusion, decided to be a bunch of jerks. I was like, okay, my family would go to Pita Fusion at least once a week for years. And now you think you're going to get sick from me all of a sudden, really? And I told them about the ADA and the 1964 Civil Rights Act because I have medical exemptions, but it's also against my conscience and my religion to put on a mask in this fashion. And it's against my religion to lie and participate in lies. And this is just a giant lie. So they didn't care. They did not care one bit. Manager was completely rude to me. So
They hadn't put much thought about it, and then somebody comes along that's put so much thought in it like you have, it probably just blew their mind, huh?
Oh yeah, I mean, and some of the workers, have been there for 4 or 5 years. They know who I am, and when I come in there talking like this, and also shouting, "Hey, by the way, if you get sick, sue them," because they're violating OSHA. They stop and they look and like, whoa, dude, what's happening? But sorry, Becky, what were you going to say?
Oh, no. I agree with you. I mean, businesses should be allowing for medical exemptions. I'm a little bit torn because, like we've been discussing, I'm a libertarian and I believe in total autonomy over your own personal life. And if you're a business owner, I want you to be able to make decisions to serve whoever you want to under your own stipulations. So, I had that incident in Sprouts, and afterward I thought, I don't know how I feel about this, and I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know if they're violating Americans with Disabilities Act.
They are.
Probably are.
So
Yeah.
I'll tell you, Title III says that yes, they can provide public accommodations for people with medical exemptions. However, people with medical exemptions, people with disabilities do not have to take the public accommodation. They can still interact in the same normal way that everyone else does, except for they would have to prove that them with their disabilities would be more, what am I trying to say here? I'm like, it's 11, I've pumpkined, I've turned into a pumpkin. They would have to prove that walking around in the store or walking 6 feet to your seat at a restaurant is more dangerous without a mask than with. They'd have to prove it. And there is no evidence that you're more dangerous without a mask than with. So they're violating the ADA 100%. And the 1964 Civil Rights Act says, you can't discriminate on basis of religion and race and all of that stuff. It's covered. So they're violating several laws because as a place of public accommodation, you can't impede someone's free movement in a public space. And you said that you just started following the Healthy American.
Yes, and I saw that she talks about this issue. I need to watch some of her videos.
Yeah, Peggy Hall, you gotta watch her. She's very well informed and eloquent. She talks about it every single day, I think. So, get on there and talk to Peggy or listen to Peggy. And
yeah, because it is becoming an issue of access, right? Because I don't want to feel like a second-class citizen who is forced to use curbside pickup. What if I don't have time for curbside pickup and I just need to run to the store and get something? I shouldn't be limited from that, right? And
exactly.
If every store took on this policy during flu season, that's going to be an issue for me and anyone who has a disability, anyone who has PTSD and can't wear a mask over their face. I shouldn't have to have more restrictions on my life just because I exist as a person in the world, right?
Exactly.
I didn't choose to be someone with a deadly virus, according to them, I just by existing. They use the, like the seatbelt analogy. Well, if you're going to drive a car, you have to wear a seatbelt for everyone else's protection in the car. Well, I chose to buy a car, right? So by doing this thing that's a privilege, I then say, okay, I will abide by these laws. But I didn't choose just to be a person. So that's the difference.
You can survive without driving, but you can't survive without eating. So how in the world can they keep you from going and getting groceries?
Yep. Well, that was a fun watch party. I'm going to see, is there anything new from, let's just stay with Fox News because they're the most up to date. Okay, nothing new there. Thank you for joining UnSilent Majority for this 2020 election night. I hope that y'all have a good rest of your evening and try to get some good sleep. God bless.
Thank you, Katie.
Thank you.
Bye, Katie. Bye, Becky.
Bye. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
All right.
Hey, Katie.
Yes.
I'm going to get a hold of you. I used to do some internet radio and TV, and I'm going to be texting you to find, once you mask